The film opens with a gaunt, tall man drifting in and out of sleep in a train carriage. In his dreams, the face of a young woman appears before him. This man is Arthur. He is an Englishman of mysterious origin. He resides in Tuscany and works in collusion with a local gang of grave robbers, profiting from digging up grave goods from ancient tombs. As a foreigner, the reason Arthur can survive in the Tuscan underworld is that he possesses a gift. He is a dowser. He can sense materials buried deep underground. This talent for finding lost things defined Arthur's career, but it also led to his imprisonment. After serving a few months for theft, Arthur finally regains his freedom. When the train reaches its destination, Arthur steps off only to be tailed by an old friend. The man is a member of the grave-robbing gang, there specifically to welcome Arthur back. Turns out, during the last raid, the gang fled when things went wrong, leaving Arthur behind to be arrested. Now that Arthur is out, the gang hopes to bury the hatchet and resume their partnership. But Arthur hasn't forgiven their betrayal. He rejects their welcome and heads alone to a secluded countryside villa. This is the home of his late girlfriend. Her mother is elderly and is currently cared for by a middle-aged woman named Leah. After visiting his girlfriend's family, Arthur returns to a shack at the foot of the hill to rest. In his dreams, his girlfriend's sweet, smiling face appears once again. She wears a knitted red dress, pulling hard on a red thread buried in the earth, but she cannot pull it free. Her eyes are filled with helplessness and despair, and Arthur suddenly wakes with a start. On his second day back, Arthur realizes something is missing. His stash of artifacts, which he usually hid in the bottom of a flower pot, has vanished into thin air. Suspecting the gang is playing tricks, he rushes to their hideout. It turns out, after Arthur's arrest, the police searched his shack. Luckily, the gang found and moved the goods beforehand, keeping them safe for him. Seeing Arthur return, the gang tries desperately to convince him to join them for a big job. Arthur verbally refuses, but the thrill of adventure and the lure of the tombs make his heart race. The town is celebrating a carnival. The crowd pulls Arthur into the parade. Rumors of his ability to pinpoint gold and tombs have spread far and wide. Sure enough, as soon as he shows his face, a middle-aged man approaches him, claiming to know the location of a major Etruscan site. The next morning, Arthur and the gang assemble. The man leads them to a cliffside, claiming a sacred ancient hoard lies beneath. Arthur downs a mouthful of strong liquor, snaps a forked branch to use as a dowsing rod, and begins to tune into the mysterious response from the earth. The group follows him deep into the woods. Suddenly, the branch in Arthur's hands turns, pointing straight at the ground. The world seems to invert, a mirror image of reality. At that critical moment, Arthur collapses, rolling on the ground. The gang starts attacking the middle-aged man, claiming he drugged Arthur. The man, seeing the danger, wisely runs away. Soon after, Arthur wakes up. This was just his normal physical reaction to using his gift. It meant he had found the true location of the tomb. The gang simply used his reaction to scare off the outsider so they wouldn't have to share the loot. They wait until midnight to start digging, only to find the tomb has already been raided. Hoping for scraps, they crawl deeper and find a pile of scattered bones. Sifting through the dirt, they manage to find a few small grave goods. Not a total waste of time. Arthur finds a perfectly preserved openwork bronze piece. It is a bell that still rings. The gang returns to the surface with their loot. The spirits lingering in the dark don't scare them. Instead, they fuel their sense of accomplishment. For these young Italians, rather than being exploited as laborers their whole lives, they prefer to live off the land, taking wealth and gifts directly from nature. The question is, do they know how to curb their greed? Can they take only what is needed, or will they become sacrifices on the road to wealth? Over time, Arthur and the gang have dug up almost every tomb in the area. Their legends spread among the people, making them the police's #1 target. Every mission carries the risk of arrest. In Tuscany, there are established channels for fencing stolen goods. The buyer is a mysterious auctioneer named Spartaco, who is elusive and only works through intermediaries. After the usual lowballing, Spartaco's assistant dismisses the gang with a stack of cash. Arthur, unable to forget his late girlfriend, frequently visits the villa. Over time, a romance blossoms between Arthur and Leah. Though she has 2 children, Leah retains a vibrant charm. Arthur gives her the antique bell as a gift, signaling his pursuit of her. But unbeknownst to them, Arthur's sixth sense suddenly activates. In a trance, he wanders toward an unmarked patch of ground and collapses. The gang is ecstatic. They know the state well. Arthur has found a valuable ancient tomb. Leah watches, stunned. She finally realizes Arthur's true identity is a grave robber. Leah believes that what is buried is for the dead, and the living should not disturb their world. She threatens to call the police. Meanwhile, the gang cracks open the stone door, expecting a huge haul. They discover this isn't just a tomb, but an ancient sanctuary. It is filled with Etruscan murals and countless vessels. Even more shocking, a flawless statue of a goddess stands in the center. The statue is lifelike, her gaze profound. Arthur stares in awe, but his partner takes a shovel and chops the goddess's head off. The entrance is too small. They have to break it to get it out. Seeing the statue permanently destroyed breaks Arthur's heart, and he fights his partners in a rage. Suddenly, police sirens wail outside. The gang panics, grabbing only the goddess's head before fleeing. Arthur expects to be caught again, but nothing happens. The police were actually a rival gang of robbers in disguise, there to hijack the find. Soon, the discovery of the temple and the headless statue causes a stir. Various forces compete, and a massive excavation begins to retrieve the remaining artifacts. Through this process, countless middlemen profit. The scale of the artifact smuggling chain in Tuscany is revealed to be massive. When Arthur and the gang learn the temple was stripped clean, they storm Spartaco's territory. They want answers for the stolen credit of discovering the site. They are taken to a yacht where a private auction is being held. The item for sale is the headless goddess from the temple. A blonde woman is confidently pitching to buyers. She has packaged this headless statue as a priceless treasure, a Venus, whose beauty lies in her imperfection. She even forged the provenance, hoping to sell it to a museum for a high price. Arthur and the gang realize this woman is the elusive industry kingpin, Spartaco. A negotiation begins. After all, the goddess's head is still in the gang's possession. They can prove the statue is stolen property, which would prevent Spartaco from legally selling it. Everyone argues over profits, threatening each other like wild animals. Arthur silently watches this display of the ugliest side of human nature. His heart is drowned in despair. Leah's warning echoes in his ears. The things underground are not meant for the eyes of the living. He takes out the goddess's head. The white marble glows in the sunlight. In the next second, before anyone can react, Arthur drops the head into the deep ocean, letting it vanish from the world forever. On the way back, Arthur falls asleep. A train conductor approaches him, asking about the many items missing from his grave. Arthur turns, only to be confronted by several women complaining that they can't find the things buried next to them. The movie blends dream and reality here, as the disturbed souls take human form to demand their property back from Arthur, the grave robber. Waking up, Arthur feels a terrifying backlash. He jumps off the train in a panic, feeling utterly lost in the chaos of the dark night. Arthur stumbles back to his shack, only to find it sealed and demolished by the police. He has truly become a homeless wanderer. His former gang members, feeling betrayed by Arthur, are now strangers to him. Wandering the streets, Arthur runs into Leah's daughter. He learns Leah quit her job at the villa and is living with her children in an abandoned train station. They have turned it into a utopian community for women. Arthur and Leah briefly rekindle their connection, but he knows they are on different paths. His fate lies elsewhere. The next morning he leaves. Because his talent for dowsing is legendary, another group of grave robbers soon invites him out of retirement. The location is an industrial ruin. Arthur walks a circle and points confidently at a puddle. The tomb is right here. An excavator clears a path. Arthur is asked to go down first. He feels around in the dark tunnel, but before he can get his bearings, the tunnel collapses, burying him alive. By the weak light of a candle, Arthur sees a red cotton thread hanging from above. Instinctively, he begins to pull on it. Looking up through the hole, Arthur is shocked to find that the other end of the thread is held by his long-dead girlfriend. This scene mirrors his earlier dream perfectly. From this, we can surmise that Arthur has perished. This scene is the final dream his mind constructed before he lost consciousness. After raiding countless tombs, he has finally been swallowed by one, becoming a sacrifice himself. Arthur's image mirrors the Hanged Man in the La Chimera poster. This tarot card corresponds to the alchemical symbol for intuition and prophecy, but also implies self-sacrifice. The inverted perspective of the Hanged Man reminds us to view the dead and the underworld from a different angle. At the end of the film, Arthur and his girlfriend embrace. In another world, they are finally reunited.